One of the main reasons we feel that we don't sound very impressive when we are communicating is we restrict our choice of words. We don't really widen our sphere of influence in engaging with good conversational skills. So, here I would love to share with you some 10 phrases which are daily usage phrases and which will help you sound impressive because they actually are helping you express your thought more effectively and can be used as an add on to the entire thought that you're trying to convey. So let's get started. When you're engaging in a conversation where someone else at the other end is possibly a little low, or they are not feeling confident enough, or for that matter, they don't feel they are good enough, you know, you could use a phrase, I am confident that. Now, it could be that the person at the other end has given multiple interviews and is not sure that he's going to make it even this time. So you can frame it as, I'm confident that you will crack it. Instead of directly saying to the person that, you will make it, you will crack this one. You can say, I am confident that. Let me give you some more instances. Probably the person is not very sure of, what's in store for tomorrow, whether there'll be financial success in his business or in his new venture. Then again, you can instill confidence by saying, I'm confident that this will turn out wonderfully well for you, or this venture would be a grand success. So, I'm confident that is a go to phrase when you're trying to instill confidence in the person whom you're engaging in a conversation with. If you're trying to excuse yourself from a situation only momentarily, you can use a very interesting phrase to say that you'll definitely get back soon to this discussion. You can say, I'll be back in a jiffy. So, when you say I'll be back in a jiffy, which means you're quickly going to join back in that situation. It's a great phrase. Normally, when we are in the middle of things, we get a call and we want to excuse ourselves. At the same time, we don't want to sound rude and we want to tell that other person, that we are important, they are important to us. And we say that we'll be back quickly. Instead, you can, use this go to phrase, I'll be back in a jiffy, which means you'll quickly be back. Absolutely. Yes, certainly. Why not? Sure. All right. All of these words which I just used were used to indicate that you're confirming something or possibly affirming something. So I would give you an alternate phrase which will help you to express the same thought, and that is done deal. So when you want to possibly confirm something on a WhatsApp chat or even across the table, you can say done deal, or you can say okay, that's a done deal then, which means you're confirming to the other person that you are agreeing with this particular thing. Let's take some examples. If someone is seeking your appointment and trying to say that they would love to meet you, you could say that done deal, I'll see you on. Okay, so that could be one way you can use it. Or you had a to and fro of a discussion with someone, back and forth, you all were discussing something and couldn't conclude. Finally, you all came to a conclusion and you too agree with the person. You can say, done deal, this is final then. Okay, so done deal is a way of affirming or confirming something. It was your birthday, but none of your friends turned up to wish you. Birthdays are special and definitely a day to celebrate yourself. And if it goes without a celebration, people don't care enough to celebrate, and later they possibly apologize or try to make up with excuses. You can say one line for that, a very effective line which indicates this was not enough. So you could say the line, too little, too late, which means whatever is happening post facto is certainly not going to make up for what happened before. So, too little, too late is a way to indicate the efforts were little and it's happening too late. So, yet again, I'll re emphasize, too little, too late. When you're trying to reciprocate feelings, you felt the same level of joy, or you felt the same level of excitement, or you felt the same level of pleasure that the other person felt. You can definitely express this thought by saying that me too. But me too is a very commonplace, regular kind of a usage. So let's look at an alternate way to say the same thing. You can say, I enjoyed this experience as much as you did. Okay, so let's take the scenario where you could use this. So you met up a friend after a long time for dinner, and there was a lot of back and forth in where, when, how you all could meet up. But finally, it happened. You all had a wonderful dinner, and towards the end of the dinner, your friend expressed how she loved catching up with you. And yes, you feel the same. So instead of saying, yes, I felt the same, or yes, restating the same words, you could possibly say, I enjoyed this experience as much as you did. Just an add on, you can even say, the pleasure was all mine. So the full sentence could be framed as, the pleasure was completely mine. I enjoyed this experience as much as you did. This is a great way to reciprocate feelings where both of you probably enjoyed the experience together. Oops, how clumsy of me. I completely missed it. Whenever you're apologizing for not living up to an expectation or a commitment, or possibly forgetting something, okay, it could even be forgetting your keys at home, and you're expressing that thought without saying sorry or without saying I forgot, you could use this phrase to indicate your clumsiness. And it could be, oops, how clumsy of me. I completely missed it. Okay, so there you go. Very effective line to say sorry without actually saying sorry. When something is delayed but yet necessarily needs to happen, and you still made the effort nonetheless, and you went ahead even though it was a delayed effort, you can add a phrase to indicate that you felt it was important even though it was delayed. Okay, so for example, you missed someone's birthday and you missed wishing the person. You can say, better late than never, and then go ahead and give belated wishes. So better late than never is a very good way to indicate that it's okay, I got delayed, but yet I did make it a point to make it happen. Okay, it's a great way to say that it mattered to you, but it was delayed. So better late than never. You were driving blissfully, completely at ease, enjoying your drive, and suddenly, out of the blue, a bike overtakes you in full speed and rattles you. Now, normally this seems to be a common feature in a city like Mumbai, right? So how would you express something that happened to you out of the blue? You would say, I was shocked, or, I was shaken up, or probably you can say, I was completely taken aback. I was not expecting that. I was completely taken aback. Okay? It is an expression of shock, of disappointment. So I was completely taken aback, or I was not expecting this, is an expression to use when you are shocked and coupled with a level of disappointment. Now, talking about disappointment, if somebody talks about something that eventually led to disappointment, you could use a phrase to share or possibly to empathize with them. And the phrase would be, what a bummer. Okay, so I'll talk about some instances which will help you relate better. So, your friend tells you, I was really looking forward to a great evening at the movies, and my entire family was there and we looked forward to watch this film, and turns out that it was a complete dud, a complete waste of money, time, energy, efforts. Okay, so a day definitely not well spent. So here you could use a phrase to empathize with the other person, because the person is facing disappointment. You can say, what a bummer, I'm sure it was a horrible experience for the family, and That's really sad. Okay, so what a bummer is actually an add on which indicates that you're empathizing with the disappointment. Let's take one more example to understand this better. So let's take the case of, a cake which you were baking, okay, and you were a first time baker, and turns out that the cake crumbled instead of being a perfect, moist cake. So when you look at it and you're expressing disappointment to someone, you can say, it turned out to be a bad experience or an awful experience, in fact. And what a bummer. I tried my best, but the cake turned out to be a disaster. A phrase which I often use and I feel it is a good alternative for okay is fair enough, which also accommodates or gives room for someone else to express their thought, and I'm trying to indicate I'm accommodating their position. So instead of saying okay, I say fair enough. Okay. So, for example, if the person says I'm unable to make it for this particular commitment, so I say fair enough, okay, which means I'm taking into account their busy schedule and trying to understand their position, empathizing with them. So, fair enough is a good alternative for okay. Smart English phrases make you sound exactly what it is, smart. So make sure you incorporate these phrases, and they are great add ons to your wonderful vocabulary list, because people actually form judgments and opinions based on how you articulate your thoughts. So be a great communicator and continue learning with us these wonderful lessons, which will add great value to your language learning objectives or in your journey of mastering your communication skills.